We have on the line in our Pretoria studios, Tiyani Rikhotso. Tiyani, good morning to you. Can you take us through that process after the publication of the Government Gazette? What happens next?
Good morning and thanks for the invitation. We have invited members of the public to make inputs to the draft tariffs that we have published in the Government Gazette, as you correctly said. They have a period of 30 days wherein they can write to us to share with us their views, because eventually when the Minister of Transport makes a final determination, we would want to consider the views of members of the public, particularly those who are going to be affected when the project gets implemented eventually.
Now, apparently there is 4 sets of regulations on the conditions of tolling. Take us through that.
The regulations in question were approved by the Minister of Transport after a thorough public consultation process that happened around the months of April and May. We have received comments from members of the public so far as the conditions of tolling, exemption from tolling, the e-tolling road signage and the e-tolling specifications are concerned. Now, these are regulations that are going to apply to the toll road network in question. So we are required by law, after determining what the final regulations are, to publish them for the information of members of the public. We are quite glad that we are moving towards the conclusion of all the matters that had been outstanding to eventually pave the way for the implementation of the process itself. We also need to emphasize the fact that as soon as the current public consultation process regarding the tariffs is concerned, the Minister of Transport is then required by law to issue a notice of commencement of tolling. And thereafter, we need to allow at least a fortnight, 14 days to be precise, to lapse before tolling can commence. So we are looking at about a month and a half from now before we can get a clear indication from the Minister of Transport as to what date will e-tolling commence on the toll road network in question. But safe to say that the system itself technically has been ready for quite some time. It has been on for the past 2 years, since 2011, on the GFIP road network, to test its efficiency and see where challenges arise so that we are able to address those challenges before the implementation date starts. It has also been in operation for a year at least, since September last year, on the N4 Bakwena toll road network. Those who travel to Rustenburg and parts of Mpumalanga will attest to that, that indeed they have been using the e-tax successfully. It has proven to be a working system, because instead of having to stop at a toll plaza to pay manually, which also has its own implications so far as delays are concerned, you basically just drive through, and then it basically lessens the time that you have to spend on the road. So at least 50,000 people are currently utilizing the electronic tolling system on the N4 Bakwena toll road network. So we are quite confident that come implementation date on the Gauteng highway road networks in question, we will be able to have a system that has been tested, that has proven to be efficient, and it assists in terms of dealing with issues of the free flow of traffic.
You're confident that it will work, but are you confident that motorists will register and buy the e-tax?
We have no reason to doubt compliance from members of the public, given the fact that this is not the first law of the Republic to be passed. Members of the public are required to comply with this law, as is the case with many other laws that we have in South Africa. We therefore do not believe that come October 2013, South Africans will decide to wake up and choose which laws to respect and which ones not to respect. And unfortunately, if we find ourselves in that kind of situation, then it means that we will be regressing as a nation. The gains that we have made in the past 19 years will unfortunately be reversed. And hence we are saying that it is irresponsible on the part of those who are calling for passive resistance, civil disobedience, and encouraging members of the public to engage in unlawful activities. We are saying that there are benefits that have been accrued from the improvement of the road network in question. A lot of people are singing praises so far as the smoothness of traveling on the road network in question is concerned. I'm a living example myself. I live in Johannesburg, I work in Pretoria, I have to travel on the road network on each and on a daily basis. I used to live in Pretoria 5-6 years ago, working in Auckland Park in Johannesburg. It used to take me not less than 2.5 hours to move between Centurion and Auckland Park in Johannesburg. Now going the other way, it only takes me about 30 minutes or so to move from Johannesburg to Pretoria. So we are saying that let's appreciate the good that has come with the project and indeed work with government in ensuring that we come on board to deal with the debt that we have had to raise of 20 billion rands.
Now, you did mention earlier it will probably take a month and a half before implementation. Is that correct?
Yes, most definitely. We are expecting the Minister of Transport, as soon as she's satisfied with all the processes that I referred to, that we are still yet to conclude, she will then make a determination on the date on which the process itself is going to go live.
Tiyani Rikhotso, thank you so much for your time. That was Tiyani Rikhotso, the Transport Department spokesperson, on the line to us. Now, you